Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Justin, and we are back with another episode of Gosen-sama. Long live the ancestors, I believe would be the easier way to remember that.
Yep.
Before anything else though, first off, thank you to Henri for sponsoring this. This is a Patreon fulfillment of one of our 4 patrons that ask us rather consistently every month to watch a thing. So,
And we're gonna do it.
yeah, here we are watching a thing. Speaking of Henri, first thing we have is comments, or I guess second thing. First thing was the thanks. Second thing is comments. From the Patreon episode, an evil woman breaks into the house. Obviously, it's the only episode we have so far. Yeah, I was sorry, I just fucked that up. Yeah, I was more getting at the fact that it's not so easy to understand every point the show is trying to make during all 6 episodes. Didn't mean to imply it was especially hard to follow on a surface level. But this family drama isn't gonna play out in the most straightforward manner, I can tell you that much. I 100% agree that the mom is the best character, at least of the family members. Super funny. Would have been cool if you talked a bit more about the unusual stage play like presentation and the occasional fourth wall breaks. But there'll be more time for that since I enjoyed this reaction. Smiley face.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I was a bit confused when I first read that. Given it's been a month since I saw this comment, so this is me
Yeah.
reliving it. It's like I thought we really did talk a lot about the play like presentation because I remember going on at length when he's like at the front door looking through the
Mhm.
peephole, seeing the girl. Yeah, this is the peephole thing, by the way, in case you didn't figure that one out. Um, about how it was like a one man play all of a sudden. I guess maybe they're talking more about the whole thing in that it's like when you go to watch a play, it's a half of a room, and you never break from the half room because it's the whole stage.
Yeah.
The camera in this doesn't turn around. We never see the back of the room except for when he goes to the door, and then the only prop we have is the door. So I guess that's very much like a stage play as well.
I
Um,
think this I think we'll notice more little details overall now that we're past the first episode and the, like, what's what's this of it all?
well, I guess there's also the fact that though those elements did feel like a stage play, the only reason I can think of to not bring up that kind of element is that the opening bits. I'm not talking about the narrator talking about birds, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
talking about when we first see the girl and she's standing out in like the field of tall grass or whatever you want to call it, looking up the building that she's going to go to later in the episode.
Yep.
That doesn't feel like a stage play. That feels like if you were making a movie about a stage play and you had a non-stage play part right in the beginning. Also, the fact that he's
Kinda.
looking out at the fields from from the apartment with, like, I don't know, was it a telescope? Binoculars? Something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, which indicates that it's not on the stage. Like, I don't know how you would represent that if it was in a stage play.
I don't know.
I'll admit that
That's a good
I haven't
question.
watched a stage play in forever. I think the last one I watched was just a, recording of Phantom of the Opera. And they do some pretty creative shit with, like, putting the actors in the balconies on the side to indicate what's going on,
Yeah.
or, when you're supposed to try and indicate that there's a scene where people would be in the audience watching the play as Phantom of the Opera is itself a stage play in a stage play. So,
It's true. Just be careful if you don't know the Phantom of the Opera is dead. I know that's a bit of a spoiler, but
what did you say?
I quoted the song.
No, no, I mean, I didn't actually the Phantom of the Opera is and then I didn't hear the last word.
Dead.
Is he, though?
Not really, but that's what the song
Well, I
claimed.
mean, there's a follow-up, Love Never Dies. It's like Phantom of the Opera 2, if you will. So that's why I'm like, is he?
Ah, yes, Electric Boogaloo.
Well, I mean, I'm being serious. It is. After I got done
No, no.
watching Phantom of the Opera, I get all these advertisements for Love Never Dies, so it's like, is he? Uh,
No, so not dead, but that's one of the more famous lines from the most well-known song.
is it? I don't know that
Yep.
one.
I think it's more about
To be fair, I don't remember off the top of my head all the songs from Phantom of the Opera, but you're saying the more famous one, and then
I think it's I think it's when she sings about, like, the isolation and she's just feeling alone. There's
uh,
I'd have to
how
listen
many
to it more.
times does she sing about that?
I know, right?
Alright, anyway. So yeah, next up we have Fail Fisher from YouTube, obviously. Same episode, because it's the only episode people could have replied to, unless they're coming back in time from the future, which would be apropos. Yes, stories with cuckoo bird analogy. I didn't know this one prior to seeing it in the schedule, so I guess I'm with you guys on this journey.
Hell yeah.
I guess for anybody not in the know, Fail Fisher is one of our most prodigious recommenders on our Discord about shows to watch. If you ever drop by our recommendation section on the Discord, 99 of those will be Fail Fishers. That's not a slight, Fail Fisher. Keep recommending. It's good to have a backlog of options. Heck, some of them I watched solo. Some of them we did together on the channel. Some of them have wound up in polls.
I agree with that. I will not see the recommendations.
Well, there's no reason not
I
to.
could
Yeah, you could.
I could see them, but I won't.
Well, no reason you couldn't. I'm not just throwing that out there.
100%.
I guess that said, why don't you go and remind us what happened last time?
I think I think all I don't remember specific details, but what I remember is guy doesn't leave his house. Girl shows up who's long lost granddaughter. Mom leaves. What almost lethal fight with dad. Partway through episode. That's what I remember.
Almost a lethal fight. You know, hold
Like,
on, I
yeah,
almost forgot that I made this, and this might help you. It probably won't. It's very rudimentary, and I don't even know if I've got a way to put this up on the screen. Thank you, Window Capture, for being a capture of the same show twice. There we go. I think that is it. Make that appear. There we go. A very rudimentary relationship grid of the 4 characters that are in the show. Look, I don't know how complicated the show might turn out to be,
I
so I'm
love
just
it.
kind of preempting it. Look, we already introduced time travel, and it appears like we're not joking about it.
Correct.
So I,
Yes.
went at length, hi- God, Kini Kinikuni Kinikuni's relationship to Morocco is that she is his great granddaughter, and obviously he is her great grandfather.
That's yeah.
I'm just pointing out,
Luckily, that's
like,
how it works out.
yeah, well, I'm just pointing out I put the words there to make it very clear, just in case we do like a on my own grandson sort of scenario. We'll at least have a line telling us that's what's going on. You don't want to
Yeah.
try and remember the whole song off the top of your head. So I'll write down to the fact that, oh, she's his mom. Oh, he's her son. Just in case. I don't know how complicated it's gonna get, but I'm prepared.
I'm happy that we're prepared. But yes, I remember a fight between between the father and the son, him seeing the girl, her showing up, mom leaving
Yeah,
after another fight.
very specifically, the son went down to the sports store and bought a baseball bat, and the father was prepared because he went down to the sports store to inquire about what could be the baseball bat, and for some reason they sold him a golf club.
Which would not be a baseball bat.
I mean, very specifically, in the book World War Z, there is the Japanese kid who's like Hikikomori,
Yeah.
who comments on the fact that all of these like 9 to 5 businessmen in their apartments, he's just watching from like across the street because he's stuck in his own apartment, who are
Yeah.
like wrapping golf clubs around zombies' heads because he like they go to hit them and then the golf club just bends around them. It's like ill prepared.
True.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to elaborate. Because yeah, there was that. The mom is obviously super upset about everything. Well,
Yes.
not everything. She's super upset once the girl arrives. Oh, by the way, they have a hereditary starfish not tattoo, starfish birthmark on their ass.
Yep.
That's how she proved it was real.
I forgot about that one.
I mean, there's the two things that kind of are supposed to make it all true, guess. There's the
Yes.
starfish tattoo and the fact that the blimp is the time machine, the Kodak blimp.
Yep.
Mind
Well,
you,
so it's not that the time machine's a blimp. It's the fact that that's what we see it as in this time.
yeah, well, she said something about making it. It's basically it's a TARDIS. It's supposed to not stand out
Basically,
as a blimp, advertising Kodak.
it's a reverse TARDIS.
I feel like that's a slight against Kodak, who's obviously paid money to make this thing look obvious and advertise for them, because you don't want
Yeah.
your advertising thing to be the thing nobody notices, which is the anti-advertising statement.
Well, no, it's the thing that people notice because it's what's being used to cover the thing that nobody notices.
I feel like this is falling into the nobody, sorry, not nobody, somebody else's problem field. If you're familiar with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I'm not super familiar, but I do know what you're talking about.
Right. Well, I guess for the audience then, the concept is that if you get paid to, like, make a mountain disappear, it's far more work to try and dig up the mountain and move it than it is to paint it pink or purple. Because nobody's gonna see a pink or purple mountain, because that'd be fucking crazy. You wouldn't talk about a pink or purple mountain, so the mountain must not be there. In this case, it's invisible. It becomes somebody else's problem.
Okay, I didn't remember it to that detail.
Well, that's the example given in the book, but obviously
Yeah.
I'm, like, paraphrasing it, which does not make it come out in the same context as it does in the original script. Also, the script is written with a British, humor to it, and I'm just giving it, like, flat, so I'm doing it no favors, but that's the long and short. Yeah, the mom leaves,
Yep.
and I can't remember anything else happening in the episode.
I think that's where it ended. I think it ended with the mom leaving.
I mean, I'm sure that's where it ended, but I feel like I've described 5 minutes of a show.
Beyond that, the biggest thing I remember is the interesting animation style and that the joints made them look like dolls.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certainly that. Well, I guess that's as far as our, month away memories are giving us.
Correct.
So, I guess any other final thoughts before we go?
Uh, just another thank you.
Alright.
That's it.
Alright, thank you once again, Henry, as we go ahead and get on into it.
Let's do it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
it's just $5 a month. But hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support and it would be greatly appreciated.
毎秒50メートルを超える猛烈なブリザードがうなりを上げて吹き荒れ、太陽が全くその姿を見せぬ闇の世界、真冬の南極。
I always wanted to move to Alaska for that very same reason. 6 months of darkness, I mean.
Well, when you live above the Arctic Circle, there's a lot of places actually pay you to live there.
I know Alaskans get a percentage back on taxes based on the pipeline, or at least
Yep.
they used to. I don't know if they still do.
I believe they still do.
そしてこの時からペンギンパパの地獄の放浪が開始されるのである。こんなものが。
This feels with a whole hell of a like schoolhouse rock. Like if they were about to start singing stuff. That's great to learn. Because knowledge is power.
卵を己の足に乗せ分厚い腹で覆いつつ可愛い卵のためならばなんで辛かろ切なかろ1000万人といえども我いかん断じて行えば基準もこれを避け進み立つ方に限りなく精神一等何事必ずらん
Also, stereotypical and probably horrible depiction of a Chinese man behind him.
Yeah. Also, just beside the Chinese man, there's also one of many possible depictions of stereotypical things.
I don't know, kind of like Dulcine from Street Fighter. I couldn't tell who he was.
That was one of the possibilities.
Or the Kalima guy from Indiana Jones. Who may be the same inspiration.
Might be.
松見につらきおきこたつまだ踏みもみずかから金玉卵からヒナが姿を現すまでの2ヶ月間さらに足取り確かに表情を歩き出すまでの6週間ペンギンの父の過酷な日々は厚さ10センチを超えようという皮下脂肪をもそぎ落としその体重は実に半分にまで激減する
Yeah, this art style is still very unique.
親の涙雨子にかかるエンペラペンギンの父忍耐と根性の放浪の一石でありました
I guess my thing is, I don't know what to take away from it. Because my example comes from the last one, and I can't remember what kind of bird it was in the first one. The one that pushes the eggs out of a nest and replaces it with its own eggs, so that the parents or the birds from that nest then end up having to raise its birds.
Yeah.
I can't remember what kind of bird it was. But the supposition we had during that whole opening is, okay, this is what the show is going to be about. And this is being like used as a metaphor for us. And it really didn't have anything to do with that unless, again, our main character here is one of those, like he's not really their son, but otherwise had nothing to do with it. Because my takeaway here is, okay, emperor penguins sacrifice a lot for their children.
It was cuckoos.
Right. Sorry, my throat's going. My only supposition here is that, okay, emperor penguins sacrifice a lot for their children before they're born and when they're growing up a little bit. I don't foresee that having anything to do with the episode, especially considering we almost got, like...
That could be about the dad.
A golf club fight versus a baseball bat fight. Like, we already know their relationship.
It's true.
Also, Long Live the Ancestors has to be Maroko to these people. Because they're her ancestors.
As far as we know.
Yes. But you could say that to every sentence.
It's true. I am capable.
Hey, where's your sister? I don't know. She moved with her boyfriend. As far as we know. Just make everything a little bit more ominous.
Sometimes it's what you gotta do.
Jerk.
Product placement.
Notice how he offered the drink and then took it back.
True. Save our souls.
So Kodak and Coke.
Hell yeah. Got
あの日の黄色い飛行船ぎゃ
Oh, they have a starfish. They have a star tramp stamp.
Yeah, that's what we saw. Well, we saw it on her anyway.
最高だよまろこんお前も入らないかおじいちゃんの背中を流しとくれよいいだろうでも恥ずかしいおじいちゃんと一緒にお風呂に入るのに何が恥ずかしい
Are
You can only
you?
assume that he doesn't believe it still.
あげるから置いて
Don't know. Okay. Well, we have a time traveler
I mean,
who has to take a bus. I love it.
it has to be what he's about. You get the Flavor Flav watch on his chest.
Yep. Okay.
この状況のどこが面白い
They really paid a lot. Coke. Clearly more than Kodak did.
I wonder if it's going to be an every episode thing with Okay, Super Sentai.
God, I hope they don't miss the drink Coke sign.
What sign?
The drink Coke sign.
Yeah. I didn't see it, so I'll take your word for
I
it.
don't read English.
うひょー豪華豪華見てごらんよ
Once again, I hope they don't miss the Coke sign.
鍋だよそのようだね
ひいおじいさま、おはようございます。
おはよ
犬丸おじいさま、おはようございます。
うおはようマロコとても美味しそうじゃないかしかしマロコは鍋物が好きなんだね確か昨日の夕飯は
Okay.
しかり鍋朝はすき焼き
I forgot about the font choice on these subtitles.
Well, I've been reading the top telling you what the food's
あら
like.
ちり湯豆腐みぞれ鍋
私
Well,
憧
it's
れて
funny.
たんです。
I just refused salmon the other day.
おじいさまがいて、ひいおじいさまがいて、
Salmon can be very good.
Well, I was asked, do you like salmon? And I was about to say I don't know, but I decided to just stop on don't. I don't.
いただきます
Okay. Back to the stage play elements.
そうマロコが突然我が家を訪ねてきたあのアンニュイな日曜日から今日でちょうど10日の時が流れ去りました
Okay.
である私の口からこう申し上げるのもなんですが本当によくできた娘ですマロコは朝出かけるといえば
いってらっしゃいませ、ひいおじいさま。
そして疲れて帰ってくれば
お帰りなさいませ、ひいおじいさま。お勤めご苦労様。
炊事洗濯は言うに及ばず風呂の背中流しから肩もみまでまさに至れり尽くせり
So she's better than your wife, is what you're
そ
saying.
してあの笑顔
Yes.
あの笑顔あらばこそ過酷な労
You know
働
what this
に
is really
耐え、
reminding me of?
この家を守り抜く
Did you
勇
see
気を湧いて
Asteroid
くるの
City?
です私だってね、
No.
好んで飯風呂寝る
It's a
の
really
ダ
good
メ
movie
定称
with a
を言い
bunch
たいわ
of
けじゃないんだ。一家の主として
stage play
信頼
elements
し
and
立ててくれる
asides and
脇
things
役
like
たちがい
this.
りゃ戦う価
Uh-huh.
値
Highly
この
recommended.
訪問
Henry, you might
も
like
役立つぐらいの
Asteroid
実
City.
力はあ
Watch
る
it
ん
if you
だよ。
think you like this.
本当の話
Well,
は
obviously you like this, but I mean,
そ
watch
う
it.
今
Watch
の
it.
Yeah.
私は今までの私とは違う。マロコのためにこの家を支え守り抜くという気概にあふれ、そして自信に満ちて日々を送っています。マロコと出会うことで マロコが家族となったことで私は真の私自身に父として家長としての本来の姿に
The
立
way
ち
they
返るこ
talk
とが
about
で
her,
き
I
た
have to
のです。
wonder if she came back in
もう
time
マロコ
to
を失う
save
わ
the
けにはいかな
family
い。たとえマロコの正体が何であろう。
Maybe?
from like falling apart. You know, like
だからこそこの
Doc
家を購
Brown.
入する決心もしたのです。
Okay.
Become assholes.
家族だ
Wait,
けで
become
住みたい
assholes in the
他人
future?
と
Whatever
一
he
つ屋
says, I
根の
can't
下で
remember.
暮らしたくないというマロコの願いを入れ、文字通り一家を構えるために、もう決して若くはない私にとってより過酷となったローンの支払いに耐えきれるかどうか、ハイリスクな決断ではありましたが、今の私に恐れるものなど、いや恐れているものといえば一つだけ。もしや息子の犬丸がマロコの祖父という立場を忘れて、いやむしろその立場を利用して
Like you're
マロコ
saying,
に対する
the
野
only
心を
reasonable
先がせてい
explanation
る
for
の
his
ではないか
actions
と
is that
そ
he
のこと
doesn't
だ
believe
け
it.
が。
Otherwise, he
そ
is
れと
just
も
the
う一
worst.
つ、マロコと入れ違いに後ろ足で
I
砂をか
think
け
it
るようにして去っていった妻の
I
民
think
子
it's a reasonable explanation of
プ
him
ライ
being
ド
the
の高い
worst.
女です。実家はもとより親類の家に立ち寄った形跡すらなく、どこでどうしているのやら。
So that's the part I was waiting for. He started talking about the wife, and I was like, where'd the wife go? And the answer is we don't know. Also, drink Coke right there.
Again, I don't know where you're seeing all this advertising.
Where are you? Last episode, they were way up. Like, there were many floors up. So how's he
Yeah.
riding a lawnmower right out the window? I will say, I tried making this the overlay. I failed, so...
That would be
時間と校舎には犯してはならない一つの掟がある。それは過去の歴史に介入してその未来を変えてしまうこと。我々はこれを歴史不介入の原則と呼んでいる。しかし時はたかも21世紀中央、タイムマシンを買って過去へ渡航し、あるおことか己が血縁との接触を果たさんとする
Okay.
血縁固有者が続発。激動する家計の不正改変が
Became your grandpa. The situation I was talking about on the board.
Yeah.
時間管理局を設置。職員の中より時間感覚に優れ、かつ時間の観念に厳しいものをその局員に当てた。厚生省時間管理局対時間犯罪特殊機動捜査班。人々はその捜査官を時の番犬タイムパトロールと呼んだ。歴史を守り時の流れを支える彼らの捜査活動に明日という言葉はない。
Here's the thing I hate the most about these subtitles is that the F's look like K, so the K's look like F's.
Yes.
私の名は室戸文明、対時間犯罪特殊機動捜査班。20世紀末極東地区担当38歳独身山田マルコ。君をタイムマシンの不正使用並びに婦人血縁交友の現行犯として逮捕する。
So his whole thing is about hunting down people who just use the time machine and have improper relations. But he included the fact he was single, which kind of tells me that he might fall into it.
Yeah.
ちょっと待て。さっきから黙って聞いて
It's not his food. Why is it disrespectful to him?
ずうずうしくも人んちのドラマに勝手に上がり込みやがって。貴様何者だ。何をするつもりだ。
He just said.
私の名は室戸文明。対時間犯罪
38 years old, single.
20世紀末極東地区担当38歳。
それは分かった。
山田マルコ。君をタイムマシンの不正使用並びに。
それも分かった。
それじゃあそういうことで。
ちょっと待て。
今度は何だ。
あんたが本当に近未来からやってきた男であるかどうかなんてことを詮索しても無駄なんだろうな、やっぱり。
お前はあの娘が近未来からやってきた自分の孫である。
Yeah. If you
信じがたい非日常的な
again, my whole problem with the supposition that maybe he doesn't believe her falls apart here. If he doesn't believe her, he wouldn't believe him.
Correct.
それじゃあお前が本物のタイムパトロールだとして、
本物だ。
マロコが逮捕されるようなどんな悪事を働いた。
これは何だ。
これとは何だ。
これはこれだ。このちゃぶ台の上でぐらぐらとうまそうな匂いを立てて煮えたくっているこれは何だと聞いているのだ。
ただの寄せ鍋だが。
朝っぱらからか。
朝食おうと昼食おうと夜食おうとうちの勝手だ。それとも
Don't judge our meal
朝っ
choices.
ぱらから寄せ鍋食うと法律に触れるか罪に問われるのか逮捕されるのか死刑になるのかいつどこで誰が何の権利あってそんなことを決めた。
確かに。朝っぱらから寄せ鍋食おうがすき焼き食おうがあるいは100歩譲ってちゃんこ鍋を食ったとしても誰もその罪を問われはしない。
Okay.
しかし本来そこにあるべきでない血縁者すなわちタイムマシン等を駆使して近未来からやってきた子孫がその祖先と共に食事をしたり
Also, how is telling people that time travel is real not affecting the future?
Yeah, I had that thought.
Part of his rules.
不純血縁交友の禁止。時間渡航者のその渡航先における上位血縁者との接触はこれを禁止する。わかるか？好き勝手に自分のご先祖に会いに行ったりしちゃいかんのだ。ましてや一緒に暮らしたり朝っぱらから鍋を囲んで一家団らんの幸せ家族を演じたりしちゃならんのだ。
なぜだ。近未来からやってきた子孫とはいえ我が家の一員であることに変わりなし。一緒に暮らし鍋囲んで何が悪い。それで誰かに迷惑かけるか誰かが死ぬか誰かが怒るか。
私が怒る。
お前がなぜ怒る。
法に触れるから怒るんだよ。
法に触れるとなぜ怒る。
なんだそれは。
なんだお前は。
ご主人
Here we go.
Well, in absence of the mom, the dad is the second best character. Although this guy is his weirdness is kind of fun.
Yes. I feel like touch is his love language and he wants everyone to know it.
関係ねえのアホ娘。飯風呂寝るのダメ親父。これで日本も安心だの世紀末的家庭内闘争の真っ只中に家の理想やら血縁の鏡やらを一心に体現した甘っ子が訪ねてきてだな。ご先祖様万々歳の暮らしを始めたら一体どうなると思っているんだ。
The thing that's getting me is that they hit the glass
わしはマロコが離さんぞ。
and then they freeze as though the back wall is just a projection and they're leaning against it.
Or a painting.
Well, the thing is that we see the tractor thing moving in the background, so it has to be some sort of projection, right?
Fair enough.
貴様すでにそこまでこの家庭を破壊していたのか。マロコのせいじゃない。おふくろは意地張って勝手に出てったんだ。悪いのはおふくろなんだ。それが己を生んだ。
Yeah, but mom left because she's here. So it is still kind of her fault regardless.
Correct.
父さん、こんなおっさんの恫喝に屈してマロコを放り出すつもりなら俺にも考えがあるぞ。
ほらな、わかるだろう。あんたの息子だぞ、実の息子。そいつがすでにこういうセリフを吐き始めとるんだ。この娘が原因で女房は家を出るわ、息子は開き直るわ。結果的に家庭崩壊の引き金になってるんだよ。この娘がここに来たことが。俺は鼻から開き直ってる。今まで口に出さなかっただけだ。余計悪いわ、このカス。
ちょっとあんた。さっきからうちの息子を
He's saying that she is the cuckoo.
カスだの。何の権利があっての畳み込みだ。
I mean, we proposed that before, but that wasn't like... It's not, though. She's not here to be raised. She's helping them.
うちの息子に限って。これが血縁の状態もんだ。それが血縁の限界ってやつなんだよ。わかるか？
I mean, unless she's a reverse cuckoo, in which case she takes people... She's taken them from their mother and is raising them in her place?
Maybe.
Because the mother did leave, and now she's doing everything the mother would have done.
時あたかも21世紀中葉、家庭崩壊の20世紀末の風潮への反動でしょうか。祖先を敬い尊び、何事もお家第一。ご先祖様万々歳の古風な道徳感がにわかに盛り上がりを見せ始めました。時を同じくしてタイムマシンが実用化されるに及び、過去の時代のご先祖様に一目会いたいと、これを買って時を遡る者が激増。 一種の社会現象と化すに至ったのです。
結構なことじゃないか。
けれどもことはそれでは済みませんでした。ひいおじい様も先ほどおっしゃいましたね。私を決して離さないと。私も思いは同じです。ひいおじい様やおじい様のそばにいつまでもいたい。お仕えしたい。そしてこのよもたけの幸福と繁栄のために。
I understand where she's coming from. The new future society that venerates their ancestors. You know, it's like going back in time and trying to make life better for your great grandpa that fought in World War
Correct.
II.
And it's also a reversion of society due to circumstance.
その時代での社会的成功を図る。まさにお家は安泰、我が一族の未来は順風満帆ってわけだ。だがみんなが揃ってそんな真似を始めたら、歴史はどうなる？未来はどうなる？世界は
I mean, technically, history would be fine. The present would suck ass because nobody would be there. They all went to the past.
Yeah.
なぜこの一家団らんの幸せを手放さにゃならんのだ。
うちさえ良ければ。
Although technically, I guess it would be a loop, right? The past would get better, the present would start sucking, but then the present would get better because the past was better.
I don't know if that's the case, because oftentimes, historically, good times lead into not so good times.
Yeah, but if you constantly are making the past better. Same idea as going back in time with technology, right? When you're back to the future, the technology either gets better or you've destroyed the future. One of those two things typically happens.
Yeah.
国家とはそれ自身にのみ根拠を持ち、唯一無二であることをその存在の絶対条件とするからだ。家とか家族とか、そういうものはただ国家の底辺をなし、その基盤を支えるためにのみ存続すべき集団に過ぎない。その枠を超えようなんて不定の輩は、この私が許せん。
So I get girl mocking flashbacks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that F for K thing. So how'd you drink it? There was solid food in there.
That's a question.
とうとう本性を表したな。おっさん、過去から未来を守るだの、歴史を守るだの、綺麗事を並べやがって。結局のところお前は国家権力の倉庫、時の番犬ならぬ時の官犬だったんだ。
法政省の役人だってば。
やかましい。貴様のような奴にマルコを渡してたまるか。
And here we go.
Also, what the hell happened to the sun in the future? Or are you doing like one of those... Can't remember what I'm thinking of.
Maybe the sun is the one who invented or who started.
No, I'm talking about the sun is in the sky.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, he's extremely pale. It's either that or they're doing like that kabuki. Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yep. That's a concussion.
I mean, so much blood's coming out of his like whole mouth is red.
Yeah.
それは父さんに任せるよ。犬丸？ごめんよ父さん。ここに一人残る父さんのことを思うと胸が痛むよ。でも分かってくれるよね父さん。何の話をしている？
You know, move out with your great granddaughter? I'm sorry, your granddaughter?
必ず次の追っ手が来る。この家の所在が割れている以上、ここに留まることはできないんだ。お別れだよ父さん。何の話をしている？支度するんだマロコ。この家を出るぞ。
おじい様。
Yeah, that's what it
タイ
said.
ムパトロールを手にかけた以上、 僕も同罪だ。二人で逃げるしかないじゃないか。
でもひいおじい様が。
みんな一緒では目立ちすぎるし、深手を負った父さんに逃亡生活は耐えられない。ここは辛くても別れるしかないんだ。サイは投げられたんだ。他に方法はないんだよ。
I mean, this goes a ways to certainly proving the time agent guy
おじい様
right.
Yeah.
I mean, even though his
あ、
own
預金通
intervention
帳と
is
印鑑
part
は
of the
担当
cause
に
of
番からし
this.
出した。クレジットカードも忘れるな。
You might argue that his own intervention is the biggest cause.
Well, I don't know, because the mom
ご覧
already
よ、お
left.
父さん。素晴らしい天気だよ。
But this is just
そう、
further division of the
若い二人
family.
が駆け落ちするにはぴったりの天気さ。
Yeah.
Also, not a young couple. She's your granddaughter.
犬丸貴様。そうさ、俺はこの日を待っていたのさ。彼女が現れたあの日から、ビヨン的なホームドラマはもう終わりだ。マルコとの危険に満ちた逃亡生活。非日常の
He just
中
wants to
に燃え
break
上がる若い
free.
男と女の情念の世界。
Right. Now I
俺
can't
の
that
待ち
Queen
望ん
song
でい
out
た
of
の
my
は
head.
これだったんだ。あんたの役割は終わったよ。脇役は消え去るのみさ。
おじい様。
よし、行くぞ。
So our main character is also the
さよならは
villain?
言わないよ。初めからさよならの予感に満ちた家だったんだわ。
That's what I'm feeling. He's the sexual pervert and also has had this whole plan to abandon his family for his granddaughter. It feels like a villain role.
I don't know if there is a villain.
It's certainly him. It's either him or her. But the time agent guy said makes her sound like I'm
Drink
not a
Coke.
villain, but well, you know, the whole thing about we venerate our ancestors in the future, that she had good intentions. And I know you're gonna say good intentions are a path to hell or whatever. I'm just saying it doesn't make her a villain though. It makes her stupid or just unwitting.
I'd agree with that assessment.
But him, he's been waiting for this. He's been plotting. He took the opportunity the moment it came. He doesn't seem to care that much. He's all about self-aggrandizement. It very much feels like he's the villain.
I see that. I could definitely see it going in that direction.
I mean, very much to the very first thing we brought up, right? The fact that he's in the bath. It's like, oh, I want to get you in here too. So it's either he doesn't believe her, or he doesn't care and just will do anything anyways. And then the fact that a time agent shows up, and again, there's the whole element of if he doesn't believe her, he's certainly not going to believe this random dude either. But he still uses it all no matter what to get what he wants.
I think it's more of he is the quote unquote villain because it would be hard to push a lack of belief after the events that we just saw.
Oh, Decon. Next.
開始された犬丸とマロコの甘美な同棲時代。しかしその背後には母民子の放った密偵タタラ番内の影が。次回ご先祖様万々歳第3話虎視眈々にご期待。
I don't know
We
what
see what the
foot
next
on top of the
conflict
head
was.
was. Also, Mom comes back next episode, or doesn't come back, but is involved. So that's good.
Yeah.
Also, just a meta oddity on this. It feels like every episode's sponsored by a different company. And the oddity of Kodak sponsoring one episode and then Nikon sponsoring a different episode.
Yeah, I felt that.
I feel like Pepsi would be the next episode after that, right? Or I guess whatever the Japanese side for the Pepsi Corps would be. Because I don't know the rankings of Japanese sodas. Like, you know how Mexico has its own varieties of sodas, and some of those are higher up on the popularity tiers than Coke and Pepsi would be.
Correct.
I don't know if there's Coke is number one in Japan, but then they've got their own regional brand that outperforms in Japan.
I think it would be
Pepsi.
hard to, just because the marketing budget alone, I think it would be hard for a regional brand to outperform either of the two.
Not really. I mean, Dasani, right? Dasani water in the UK doesn't exist because they tried and then they failed, and the whole marketing system came down around them. So Dasani is a huge brand worldwide, but fucking failed in the UK, and their whole plant shut down. So there's no
Well,
Dasani in the UK anymore.
that that also easily plays into a lot of the UK standards for things too, because like you don't get it as much with Canadian products, but there is so many products from the US that are just not allowed in the United Kingdom.
I watched like a whole breakdown of the whole thing, and I just can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's because their water over there is I can't remember the process it's supposed to go through, versus Dasani, which is filtered water.
So that's part of it. So the biggest thing is over there, a lot of the quality of the food produced is higher. It has less like chemical pesticides and controls. It doesn't grow as big. So, for example, let's say I make a cake, you make a cake, right? We're both going to start selling cakes. Because of where you are from, specifically, your cake would not be able to be sold over there because of the flour you used if you got it from the US. Legitimately.
I'm not arguing. I'm just assuming you're right. Sounds feasible. Sounds
Yeah.
reasonable, rather.
Yeah.
You know, so I know the only example that comes to my mind is the whole egg situation. Like how we take the shit off the outside of the egg. That's why ours has to be refrigerated, and theirs can just sit on the counter forever.
Yep.
Doesn't hurt that I also have a cousin who raises chickens, and they give us their eggs, and we just put those shit on the counter.
1,000,000%. But yeah. That was a fun episode. I like that it continued the story, and also we clearly don't know where this story is headed.
Well, I mean, it's
Which
going
is
in
a
a
good thing.
direction, right? We're losing family members. I think the overall that I'm picking up is Time Guy is probably right.
Yep.
That the future people have this ancestor worship sort of thing going on, and then they go back in time, and then with the best of intentions, they fuck up the family. Because obviously, first thing that happens, mom leaves, and then she starts doing all these motherly roles of I'm gonna run your bath for you. I'm gonna tell you have a good day when you leave. I'm gonna tell you how good of a job you did when you come back, give you a back rub, etc. Doesn't matter who I actually am in the family. I've
Yeah.
replaced this member of the family, which in itself is kind of a disrespectful, you know, nudge to your own ancestors. But
Completely.
now, dude shows up, and oh, looks like I've taken dad out of the picture too. Or sorry, great grandfather out of the picture too. So now I'm just gonna run away with my grandfather, who has this weird fetish for me, which is weird. But hey, I'm going with it anyway because, I have this whole ancestor worship. They can't do anything wrong in my eyes. So clearly it's wrong from every angle. And it just so happens that we seem to have gotten, I can only assume, the worst time agent because he's not really doing the job.
Yeah. Like, I think describing him as the worst time agent is accurate.
I mean, we have nothing to compare it against, but I would assume that the fabric of space-time would unravel if everyone was as bad as he seems to be.
Yeah.
Because I can only assume either A, she's the furthest person, or she's the person who's gone the furthest back in time and hasn't fucked everything up. Or rather, other people having gone back in time further and fucked everything up. I don't know. It's very weird. Actually, thinking about it. Nope, never mind. That's probably what the field was. The field was probably wheat, right? Sorry,
Probably.
I may have made a time jump here in my own head. First episode, the entire area around the building. Wait a second. Is time changing? The first time we see it, she's walking up to the building. There's fields of, yellow, tall shit. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
wheat just because it seems like the most reasonable assumption. The building is super tall.
Correct.
Next episode, this episode, the building is squat, maybe like 4 stories tall, versus what seemed to be like 20, 25 stories tall before.
Correct.
and the tractor is going along, and there's like nothing in the field. It's all like dirt. So my first assumption was obviously, oh, maybe they harvested all the wheat. Maybe it was just wheat, or they cut it all down or whatever. But that doesn't explain why the building is suddenly so short. So
It does not.
maybe changes to the time stream, or they moved. I mean, obviously moving is the Occam's razor here. That's the simplest answer. But it looks like the room is still the same. So
True. Someone really needs to give that man his razor back.
I feel like there's something there. Something we're just not seeing. I don't believe we got any drink Coke stuff in the first episode.
Nope.
So maybe it is a different building. Unless there's a meta narrative here going on about every time the time changes a different company. Is the source of the time machine? Like, oh, we hit the time machine thing on the Kodak blimp. And nope, now the new feature is Coke. So we hit it behind the Coke sign.
That's a fun meta narrative if that's what it is.
I don't know. 2 episodes is a hard thing to try and guess at what's going on.
It definitely is.
I feel like there's something there. And probably Henry's going to post something that says, nope, it's nothing. You're just wrong.
Hey, we've been wrong before.
All right, well, you got anything else you want to add?
I do not.
All right. Well, that said, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Justin. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?